You're fuzzy.
I'm back. Sorry, the camera was catching up with me. So welcome, guys, to episode 2 of DS Comic Nights. I'm Dave, and this is...
I'm Sonia. Tonight, I am
And
the
tonight...
editor. Can you stop interrupting my amazing thing? All right.
You interrupted me.
Okay, fine, go.
Okay. Thank you,
You're blurry
Sonia.
again. It's the butt plug.
Okay, wait.
Take out the butt plug.
Okay, I'm back. Okay. And tonight, pause. And tonight, we're going to be talking about book covers. No, we're talking about editing, aren't we?
Whatever you want to talk about, Dave.
Okay, we're talking about editing, the importance of editing, and the importance. I think the importance of editing as a...
I think it's important that you say importance one more time. What do you think?
I think I need to re-stress the double importance of the editing process.
In fact, Dave, that's a very, very good faux pas, because editing is vitally important.
Right? That was deliberate. I made the mistake deliberately because I want you to see how important it is to fix mistakes like that. Now, we would obviously not include that mistake in the edited video because that's just being an amateur. So that is the importance of editing with your writing. So, Sonia, tell me about editing and stuff.
And stuff. Can I start with the stuff? Because I happen to have a little prop in my hand. All right, so editing.
People are so going to think it's a text toy.
It's not. It's a pen. Just want to put
okay, you should intro your pen as well.
Why doesn't it have an end? Okay, you're quite right. It doesn't.
It looks like you seriously pulled it out your bum. It looks... Carry on.
Serious moment. Serious moment. All right, we're back. We're back. All right, so I think what the mistake a lot of, now we're talking these obviously different types of authors. You've got authors who've written many books, they're familiar with the process. So we're going to focus on first-time authors. So I think what happens is many authors are so relieved to get to the end of their manuscript. You know, it may have taken them 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years to finally finish their book. And that excitement and that relief kind of propels them or kind of pushes them to start rushing the publishing process. And publishing is a long process. And there's many steps that I think new authors tend to kind of skip out on. And unfortunately, editing is one of those steps. And it is, if not the most important part of, I mean, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you can mark it perfectly. You can have the most beautiful book cover. But if your words themselves are shit and there's the grammars all over the place and, you know, it's you haven't even gotten out of the starting block, you know?
One of the most important to-dos. So as a writer, give people a good story. That's editing. Editing is taking what you've written and refining it so that it's a beautiful story for the reader. It's also, unfortunately, one of the easiest steps to leave out.
Yeah. Or people think that they have edited it because they've sent it off to a friend who's good at English. You know, and unfortunately, it's not going to cut it. It really isn't going to cut it.
If I had a cup of wine for every person who's told me that they've self-edited and that's okay, I would be a lot drunker right now.
More drunk than you are already.
And that's the importance of editing. I'm so glad you put that. So editing for the self-publishing authors, obviously the experience from a publishing point of view is different if you've been self-published versus if you go through a traditional publisher. You know, and that's probably where a lot of these mistakes are made, is that authors who are expecting to be looked after are now, in a self-publishing sense, responsible for the editing process that they never expected. And if you've written any decent amount of words, Sonia, you'll know that that's a big bill, right?
Absolutely. And it also depends on your genre. You know, I think on average, a nonfiction book is going to cost more to edit because there may be research involved, there may be technical words. So your editor has to do a lot more work on a nonfiction book versus a fiction book. And then, of course, it's the length of your book, you know, whether it's a novel or a nonfiction. You know, a little book like this is not going to take too much time, whereas a book like this is going to take the editor a lot longer. So there's many different factors that would affect the editing cost.
So that's a great point. So some of the factors from a publishing point of view that are going to make your editing bill more expensive. Things like, the most important thing probably is how long your book is. The second thing is, how do you find your editor? Because different editors charge different rates. So as my lovely partner mentioned, there's different levels of editing. Thank you, sir. And for example, I can just check your wording for, Sonia, I'm talking. Do you mind?
Sorry.
Thank you. There's different levels of editing. I can just look through your words and fix spelling mistakes. And that's obviously a light edit or a proof check. But the editor can also look through on deeper levels. So at obviously fiction, nonfiction, is different, but things like reference checking for a nonfiction, things like if you've got a fiction book, cardboard characters, where you've got a character who doesn't actually do much in the story. You haven't fished out their backstory enough. So when you're paying an editor and you think you're getting a good cost, you might be getting a more basic edit. And so a lot of authors seem to think that, oh, I've paid for an edit, that's done. But often the book is going to need a more thorough experience than just a single edit. How many times, for example, Sonia, have you edited your books?
Well, the first book was on a medical subject. So there were many, and I actually funny enough, I had two editors. So I had one which was the grammatical editor, and he would check, as you just said, the flow of the book, the structure of the book, and of course, did I dot every I and cross every T. And then I had a medical editor who checked my facts. So she did the fact checking. So in my case, I had two. But in any normal process, that forward and backwarding between the editor and yourself should happen at least 4 or 5 times, because the editor would make suggestions, comes back to the author, they have a look at it, and so forth. And Dave, exactly what you said there. Yes, you can do a very light edit and do a proofread. But honestly, you could just use Grammarcil. I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware of that software that you can install on your desktop and it checks your spelling, whatever. It's not foolproof, but it would pick up all the errors.
Let's talk about the cool editing tools that people can use to make their lives a little simpler.
Okay.
You mentioned
Grammarcil being one.
Just explain a bit more about it.
Okay. So Grammarcil is a free, well, there's obviously, you can get limited functions for the free version. I actually only have the free version. And it's great for writing across the board. So once you've installed it, if you're writing an email, if you're responding on Facebook, checking a Word document, whatever the case is, it would automatically check and it makes suggestions. And it's actually pretty good. So when you're setting it up, it asks you questions. What is your, sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. What is your level of proficiency within the language? I'm an expert, beginner, and I actually, for my second book, I thought, I want to test this out. And I put it through. Look, I probably accepted maybe 3 or 4 out of, I don't even know what my word count is in my book, but, out of 1,000 words, I probably accepted about 3 or 4 of them. But bearing in mind, I'm quite anal with.
I can't believe you said anal while you were looking around the book.
No, it just came out.
I told you people are going to it just came out. Put it back in.
Oh my God. I'm just going to serious mode. Look at his face.
Okay. Serious moment, serious moment.
Okay, serious moment.
Serious moment.
All right.
Okay.
We're back.
So Grammarcil, where can people find out about it?
But it's, please God.
How do people get hold of Grammarcil?
Oh, you just downloaded it. Grammosol. Hang on a second. I've got it I've actually installed it on my phone.
Can we share a link in the YouTube?
Oh, Grammarly.
Video?
God, thank God I checked. I'm completely wrong.
I was wondering. Grammarly. Okay.
It's not Grammarcil. It's Grammarly.
Oh my God, that is so embarrassing.
Did you know it was? Do you know about Grammarly?
It's almost like you're being distracted by something that's sad.
Why didn't you tell me that it was called Grammarly and not Grammarcil?
Because I thought you knew something I didn't. I was quite surprised.
Why would you be 2 programs so similar in name?
Why would you be waving around a butt plug? I don't know these answers.
Okay, so this is another example of why you need someone else to check your words, because you think you're right, and then you're
so embarrassing. So embarrassing. Okay, so Sonia.
Yes.
How about some tips for the people watching on how to reduce your editing book?
How to reduce it? Okay. In fact, I will take the advice of Stephen King, funnily enough. You need, and this is getting back to what I said earlier about when you finish writing your manuscript, and now suddenly you want the book published, right? And you start cutting corners. The good thing, the suggested thing to do is once you finish your manuscript, let it sit for at least 2 weeks. Do not look at it. Do not think about it. Do not read it. Let it sit, because you need to look at it again with fresh eyes. And when you do, you will pick up errors that previously, obviously, from reading it again and again and again, you didn't see. So I would do that for your first step.
Can I just add on to that?
Please.
Just to add on to the letting your manuscript sit for a while. Often I deal with authors who have a lot of people writing books because of how easy it's become are professional business people. And professional business people are used to getting things done quickly. They're used to, sitting tight
deadlines.
No, that was the wine coming out and cheese. Setting tight deadlines. And the problem with doing this in the editing process is that, for example, I've had several authors come to me recently who said, oh, I've set the book launch date a month away. I have to get this process done as soon as possible. And that's an example of where you'll do the best you can to get it as professional as possible. But how much can you do in a month, for example, where you still got to design covers and, get ebooks and print versions created?
So let's talk about that. Time frame. It should take at least 3 months for a good edit. Backwards, forward. It should take 3 months.
Agreed.
And please, God, don't book your book launch. Don't book anything. Don't book a thing. No book launches. And I know, but I can't hear you because your microphone's not working. I have a mute button. She goes, beep, beep. Can I put you close? I'm going to stick my finger in your ear.
La, 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 la. Okay, it's working. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, please don't book. Take your head away. It's like I just want to do it all the time.
For a second, I thought you were going to use the butt plug.
Wait for it. Okay, go. Oh, yeah. Open. Come to daddy. You know you want it. Yeah.
Who the fuck would watch this stuff on YouTube? Okay. I think we've established this more for us than for them. But okay. So I deal with authors so often who have put down a firm date of a book launch before the book is actually finished.
I know.
And as you point out, that is going to screw up your editing process. And I think one of the first times I truly appreciated as a reader how much effort goes into a good edit was reading the front matter of one of my favorite authors of all time. And for those of you watching, it's David Gemmell, probably the best writer of heroic fantasy.
Don't move. Oh, he's not the best writer of heroic fantasy.
I think we're going to disagree.
I am a fantasy.
The best writer of heroic fantasy.
No.
As voted for by David Henderson.
That is my bookshelf. Every single one. I just dropped something. Every single one of those books are a fantasy. Fantasy book. All right. And I would like to know, I have personally read every fantasy book I read, and David Gemmell, yes, I love, but he's not the greatest.
Basically, just let everyone know that you've got absolutely no social life whatsoever.
No, well, we know this.
You've waved around your
That's why I have a butt plug, because I'm so lonely.
All that's missing are a few cats, and we've lost all our viewers.
Please remind me at the end. Okay, listen. Remind me at the end, that new movie, Younger. It's a series. She can't get a job. She's 40, right? I mean, I'm not 40, obviously.
Is this your friend?
No, it's on Netflix or somewhere. And I have
of course,
friends.
I have friends.
Netflix friend, but Netflix loves me just as much as I love Netflix. And she can't get a job because she's 40. So she lies and says she's 26. And she goes to a publishing house. Anyway, it's a complete, go David Gemmell, off you go. Wow. David Gemmell. So you read the front matter of David Gemmell. Gemmell, not Gemmell. Gemmell. You see, that just shows that you aren't a real fantasy lover like I am.
I'm trying to talk.
Sorry.
Serious moment. Okay. So one of the first times that I appreciated how much effort goes into a really good book is when reading my favorite author, David Gemmell. Gemmell. And reading the front matter where he was thanking the people who've helped him. And I possibly read 3 to 4 different names of editors in the front matter.
Yeah.
And then after that, he thanked the beta readers. So people who've read his book not from a professional editing point of view, but just to give constructive
story,
feedback.
yeah, from the structure of the story, yeah.
It was at that moment that I realized how much effort this amazing author had put into his book. And that's a basic guideline. I think for anyone out there, any author that I've spoken to edits multiple times. And one of the myths, Sonia, you'll agree, is that you edit once and you're done. And editing is a once off done process.
And on that note, it's never perfect.
Agreed.
So there is a point, it's finding that line. Some people tend to perfectionists. It's never going to be perfect, but it needs to get as close to it. But don't also let it become a procrastination point where you start arguing over, should we use insert or what is up with the innuendos tonight? I'm trying to find a different, two different things. But anyway, sorry.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say
anything.
I
know. My brain caught up with my mouth and was like,
So Sonia, you're busy inserting?
I just wanted to get back to when you were saying you were reading the front mat of David Gemmel's book. So one of my favorite authors, Brandon Sanderson, who is quite possibly, he was chosen to finish writing, what's his name's book when he passed away, may he rest in peace, greatest Wheel of Time ever, anyway, whatever, different subject.
Robert Jordan.
Thank you. So Robert, where am I? Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson.
I heard a story that Robert Jordan married his editor.
Or perhaps, yeah, okay. Well, his wife was heavily involved in the books. I mean, she briefed Sanderson, that's what I was going to say. So he was chosen to continue the books after he passed away. But anyway, so...
I wonder if she interrupted him as much as you do.
So Brandon Sanderson is a phenomenal writer and he's written many, many books, but his first... truly epic fantasy book is called The Way of Kings, and it's like this. I mean, I should actually show it to you. It's beautiful. I get so happy when I get a fat book like this. I like fat books.
How big is that again?
Yes. Wait, I should actually get it for you. Maybe we can ask him for advertising space. Brandon, I love you. Hold on.
So good.
Ba-boom! Look at the size of that book. Isn't that amazing? I mean, that is like many hours of happy reading.
That book is so big.
I know.
So big.
I know you like big things, Dave. So do I.
So big.
But anyway, the point
I'm not going to sleep tonight. Carry on.
So I'm so engrossed in this book, right? I mean, I'm devouring it. It's amazing. And twice, I'm busy reading, and there was an error, a massive error, like a repetitive sentence kind of error. And it was so jarring because I'm reading and I'm engrossed, and obviously, as you know, when you're reading, you completely disappear and you become the characters. And then I was jarred out of it, and I was so shocked that that level of mistake existed in the book. And you know what I did? I actually wrote to him. I wrote to Brandon, and I said, "Hey, I'm one of your favorite fans, and this has happened. Perhaps you aren't aware of it." And I was angry for his sake because it detracted from a magnificent story. So that just goes to show you, even big names with huge publishers behind them, they do make mistakes, and the impact that those mistakes have. Now, if you're self-publishing, you have got no margin for error because you've got the traditional publishers up against you. Yeah. Did you just say butt plug?
Damn it, I didn't know you heard me. You're good.
So, this is where you think I'm... Anyway, so the point is, as a self-published author, you have to be even more conscientious.
I'm a shush lord. Imagine if a shush lord had a lisp.
Listen, that joke was funny. It was so funny up until you repeated it. Why do you do that? It was so good the first time.
Because I never know that you're listening to me.
I'm always listening to you, Dave. You pay me to listen.
That's true. So just to add on to your points about professional authors making a mistake, where I notice quite a lot, so I read mostly ebooks, and I've noticed a lot of mistakes creeping in to well-known books from the digital process of getting the ebook made. So I'll be reading a really good book, see a really obvious mistake that I know wouldn't be in the printed version. Yeah. But during the digitization process. Obviously, the author's given up control to a publisher, for example. Created the ebook, not had a look at what the ebook actually looks like. And then that's where more errors creep into a digital version, because you can imagine some of the older authors who don't want to get involved in the technology thing going, make the ebook, and thinking that, well, the book was perfect, so the ebook should be perfect.
And probably never once looking at it, ever, because they probably never touched the book in their life.
And the thing is obviously a lot of the errors in the ebook version are cloaked by fans of an existing book, sharing the love over it. But the errors are still there, and because the book wasn't previewed as an ebook. So every author watching, as soon as an ebook is made, even if it's a very popular book that you're creating an ebook version of, make sure that you preview it to see what your readers are getting.
So I think that's a very important point. There are so many steps during the publishing process where mistakes can be made. So you could have a perfectly edited manuscript, and then something goes wrong in the typesetting, or something goes wrong when you're creating ebooks. So there's so many kind of markers along that road, that roadmap to publishing, and which is even why it's even more important to have paid professionals check it for you. Because if you rely only on yourself to do those checks, you will miss them. You just will.
Absolutely. I think there's certain processes, and we're getting a bit of ahead of ourselves out the topic, but there's certain processes that can be bootstrapped, and there's certain processes that can't. Now, editing, obviously, it's one of the processes you should not bootstrap. It's something that you should not skimp money on. And where you save money, rethink that, because, what's that saying? Stitch in time, or
a penny saved. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
I don't really, but it sounds good.
And saving money. So often I'll have authors who beat me down on price, going, well, I want a discount, I want a better price. And for editing, you will get what you pay for.
Exactly.
So there are certain guideline rates, and every country watching this, you'll have your own organization. So in South Africa, we have the PEG, the Professional Editors Guild. We have groups like SAFRI, the South African Freelancers Association, who have guideline rates per word for a type of genre, for fiction or for nonfiction. And that's an easy rate to work off. Now, you should never be proud of beating your editor down on pricing, or beating your editor off on pricing, whichever one gets the biggest discount.
However you need to pay the bills, I don't know.
You've got to do what you've got to do. And so many authors negotiate for the editing costs thinking that they're going to get a better deal, when in the end, you're paying your editor less. And what do you think is going to happen? The editor's not going to put in that, that same amounts of effort. So editing is something that should be budgeted for. It should be allowed to take its time and its course. And as Sonia pointed out, it's not going to be done perfectly the first time. Don't think that I've got editing done by a friend or a family member, or even by a paid professional. It is now done. You should always be open to a re-edit. Don't be stubborn about the process.
On that note, and I say this often when I'm with our clients, the minute you have, finished the last word on your manuscript is the moment you stop becoming a writer and you start becoming a business person. You need to, at that moment, take emotion out of it. So if your editor comes back to you and says, you know what, this chapter is not working, the sentence is not working, you have to be open to that criticism, because at that point, your goal is to create the best product possible. And if you're going to be prissy about it and hold on to things, especially if you're a first-time author, an editor's been doing it as their job. They know what works, they know what doesn't work. And there's so many tiny little nuances that as a first-time author, you're not going to know about. It's little things. For example, the difference between like in American English versus UK English. In American English, the full stop, if you've finished a sentence with in something in parentheses and brackets, right? The full stop is in the inside of the bracket. Whereas in English, UK English, if a sentence finishes, the full stop's after the bracket, So these tiny, I have just educated you, yes. So there are tiny little details like that, all the way, those little tiny details. And of course, the consistency of that, all the way up into, you need to rework this character. You need to rework the sentence, whatever the case is. And as an author, you've got to be open to that so that you can create the best product possible.
And that's a perfect attitude for the whole self-publishing process, is being open to firstly making mistakes, but secondly, taking it seriously enough to redo processes where you might have that mistake made. A very, I won't say common, but a pervasive attitude with some of the authors in our country, at least, for those of you watching that is sunny South Africa, is that, this book was written in my authentic voice. Therefore, some of the spelling is deliberate. I want to have it that way because that's my voice. And that's a very amateur attitude to have. Because by arguing to keep these sorts of errors in your book, you are consigning yourself to an amateur, and maybe in your country, maybe you'll get away with that. For example, South Africans are notoriously forgiving of those sorts of grammar mistakes. Partly, and it's going to be horrible, we don't have a very strong reading culture. So those people reading firstly might not know any better. And because of our mix of languages, often people are writing not in their first, it's a second or third or fourth language. But if you're going to break barriers, if you're going to get into different countries and break those borders down, you're going to reach people who are not as forgiving, where English is such just a given that your authentic language is going to piss people off.
Yeah.
And so you're dealing with authors where that is a common attitude here. And as soon as you're out that country, you've got to drop that attitude. You've got to have the attitude of putting your best foot forward. And no, spelling mistakes are not being authentic. It's being an idiot.
The only time you can ever kind of revert to native slang or something like that is if it's within speech bubbles. So one of your characters is saying a specific thing, then they may use that grammar or use incorrect grammar, use specific spelling, But certainly in the body of the book, no.
Yeah. And where you're going to be using special words, let's say, you're writing from our country where there's a multitude of languages.
I'm doing the fourth thing again. Sorry.
You're doing the fourth thing again. I can do it too if it makes you feel better.
Thank you. Hey, it makes your beard look, oh my God, now you know who you look like. Put your head back down. Damn it.
Stop bullying me.
Here's your toll. Okay, go. Sorry.
Put your head down.
That's not what I was thinking. Sorry.
No, it wasn't what I was thinking either. I just couldn't do it properly on camera. So
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Our minutes of joke. What did Cinderella say when she got to the ball?
Oh, really nothing. Really, that joke is sold. Oh, my daughter told me a new one. It's super good.
How do you jump? How do you jump from that dirty joke to, oh, my daughter told me, what did she tell you? Oh, cat got you.
I got it. What do you call a deer with no eyes?
No idea.
That's it.
Are you really going to rip on my Cinderella joke?
No idea. How funny, no idea.
You know what? This is going to be the shortest series of videos ever made.
Why?
Because I'm cutful already.
Oh, you lie. You love me, and I knew where you live.
I'm sorry. I was lashing
out. It was a moment. It was a moment. I will forgive you.
I love you. I'm sorry. Okay.
Group hug.
So, what were we talking about? What were we talking about?
I don't know. Group hug. Oh, come in.
Okay, group head tap.
Group head rub. Oh. We were talking.
We could do a group twerk if you wanted.
A twerk? How do you twerk? I have no friends, remember?
You got no bum.
You know what I can do? I have no bum. Fuck you, I have a bum. Do you know what I can do? I can floss. Have you heard about this new flossing thing?
Oh, yeah, I can, no?
No, all right, I'm going to show you. I just want to first make sure.
What are you doing?
Nothing. How do you know I'm doing something?
I'm going to show you how to floss.
How do you know I'm doing anything? Okay, hold on. So flossing happens like this. I have to go more back. I just want to get it right. Okay, got it. That's the...
I can actually feel people closing the video. I can actually feel them closing the video right now.
That's how you floss.
He's never flossed again. My joke is awesome. Anyway, so let us talk about some cool tips to reduce that. Did I do that already? Didn't I?
You did, and I have no answer. Don't reduce editing costs. Okay, you can reduce. If you've only got a certain budget.
We can. No, we can do this. We can do this. No,
okay.
No, stop it. Okay.
All right.
So one of the tips I have for people watching to reduce the editing bill, obviously it has to get done, but to make it a bit less painful in the pocket, is to print the manuscript out and read through it in its printed form. Get a pen, get a pencil, read it slowly. The printed form makes such a difference, right?
I literally did that exact thing, and I'm going to try to find the photograph of what my book looked like on the floor with all the different chapters. And also reading it not only visually in print, do you see mistakes that you didn't see before on screen, but if you read it out loud in paper, then it's like a double whammy. Absolutely. Great advice.
The punctuation will completely jump out at you when you're reading it out loud. I mean, it's just given. A second tip I have, so obviously we've discussed some cool software called Grammarly. Grammarly has a free version. It works beautifully. I also have not paid for it, so I've been using the free version quite happily. But another great topic we haven't touched on is beta readers. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Beta readers?
Beta
readers. Beta. Essentially, you get a bunch of people together, and these are people that are gifted the book. So you could gift it to them and essentially say, here's my book. Would you mind reading through it to give constructive criticism back to me? It could be friends. Bearing in mind, friends and family are going to give you a slightly biased read. Or it could be a network of people. If you belong to a readers club, if you got followers on Facebook, often if they don't know you that well, it might be a bit better feedback. But it's an essential step to get.
I would say it's the ideal feedback because your readers aren't going to know who you are either. So try and use people who obviously you have to have some form of relationship with them, but who don't know you personally on that as well. I think it's the way to go. Yeah.
Great. So if you're wondering how to get hold of beta readers, as I mentioned, you might be part of an author group. That would be an ideal resource. An obvious one would be the friends and family approach. There are groups of authors I know following on Facebook, for example, where they would quite happily help you out. Sort of a you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So beta readers, guys, make use of it. It will make your process a little longer, but your goal as a writer is to put out the best possible content. So why wouldn't you?
What is that website? I don't know if you're about to mention it. That website.
Well, we'll never know because.
No. I'm so excited. Go.
No. You go. It's fine.
Dave's feeling very sensitive tonight. Okay, go.
Okay. So another great tool to use, which is not often known about, is Amazon's own internal preview section.
So what else?
So let's say your editing's done. Okay, so you've paid someone, you've had it read by a group of beta readers who've given you great feedback that you put back in. You've printed your book out, you've read it out aloud to friends and family, and you're happy. It's been a bit of time. You're happy. You've done your due diligence. God, I should not have said that.
Due diligence.
Thank you. Now you're just showing off. Okay, and now the next step is we are putting the book to Amazon. When you're busy publishing the book to Amazon, there is a process where Amazon will give you feedback on spelling mistakes. And a lot of the authors, in fact, almost most of the authors I put to Amazon, I invariably find a list of mistakes. Some of them, because, for example, of our diverse languages, are deliberate. You know, it's different words, different spelling, different languages.
Yeah, Zulu word, for argument's sake, would be picked up as a spelling error.
Zulu. So Zulu is a great example. Obviously, Amazon won't work with Zulu language in general, so it'll be an author using Zulu words within their writing. At the moment, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but Amazon would only work with two of our languages, one being English, and die tweede een is Afrikaans. So writers from South Africa, you can write in Afrikaans and get it put to Amazon. So yeah, use that Amazon preview tool. Essentially, it gives you a bit of feedback. It says, we found this bunch of spelling mistakes. And it's a great idea once you got that list to go back to your manuscript, fix them up, put it back in. And put it back in.
I was going to suggest...
Put it back in. And put it back in.
I was going to suggest... I was going to suggest that website. Do you remember when we did the Young Writers Guild, the competition, and that, what is that website where?
Give me some context.
I've gone completely blank. It's that website where it's literally for writers, and you kind of share your chapters as you go, and you get feedback,
So
live feedback as you go.
It's Wattpad is where you share chapters.
That's it. Wattpad. That's what I was looking for.
So for those of you listening, Wattpad is a resource where generally younger writers, but I suppose no one would really know, release content to the world in chapter by chapter form. So it's a community-based platform where you're releasing chapters and gathering an audience. And we have some really prolific writers. I know of a few. Jo Watson is one of our writers in South Africa, where she built a following off Wattpad by releasing part by part of her book. And when she released a full-length novel to Amazon, she had an amazing following waiting for her. And what Sonia just mentioned is one of our young writers, as part of our young writers competition we had last year, had an amazing response, an amazing writing style for such a young person. And I found out she was on Wattpad as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I mean, there's all these resources and things out there. And I think I'm big on, as I said, I don't know if I've said now, but I'll tell you again, I'm big on strategy. And part of strategy is, of course, budget. So I think when you sit down to do this, you've got to allocate where the chunk of your money is going to go. And as Dave said, where can you skim a little bit off the top by doing these kind of things? Yes, it is going to extend the time frame of your publishing process, but it is worth it. You want the best possible product out there. You know what? It's like going out kind of wearing only your underwear and leaving your shoes behind. You know what I mean? Like, you want to take the extra time to get dressed properly, look good.
I'm just thinking it's such a good idea that this camera is not showing any further below the
Are you in our both in pajamas again? I know I am. Are you?
You're wearing pajamas.
What are you wearing? Oh. No, this isn't. No, I'm just only in the bottoms.
What are you wearing?
What are you wearing? On 3. 1. You're wearing jeans.
Nothing.
I know you're wearing jeans.
I'm wearing jean pant.
Are you wearing a jean pant? Are you wearing nothing?
Well, no, I'm wearing something, but it feels like nothing. I just want to be clear.
Are you wearing boxers? Okay, on 3. Let's go. 1. I want to see.
Okay, just to clarify, what are we doing exactly on the count of 3?
We're going to stand up.
I thought we were going to moon the camera.
Oh, no, whatever. I just want to see what you're wearing. Check how coy you just went. You were like, I'm ready, baby. All right, on 3. Are you ready? Yeah?
No. I can't.
I want to see what you're wearing. Come on.
I don't want to show you. No. You laughed at my hot water bottle. It was a hot water bottle, and I don't want to show you again because you laughed at me. Yeah, that's what happens when you're nasty.
Just going to tickle your ear and make you feel better.
Not with that. Not again.
Not again. I did wash it, in case you ask. All right.
Then why is there something with it? Next topic.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up because I'm tired, actually, to be honest. All right. So editing, guys, let's bring this together. It is a vital part that vitally important that you pay. You find the right editor. You are willing to pay for it. You can reduce the cost, as Dave said, by using Grammarly, using beta readers. I love the idea of beta readers because it's also future market feedback for when you start marketing, because these are your future readers, And when we discuss, we're going to do a video on book covers, and there's a very similar process which we suggest you do for book covers. So, yeah, that was my 2 cents.
And from my side, I help a lot of authors, and there's so many common mistakes I see new authors make. The first one is avoiding costs of editing and the resulting sort of garbage that gets published. There's no reason to avoid editing costs. There are ways to reduce it. We spoke about the software. We spoke about printing and reading out aloud and beta readers and things like that. And in the end, I think put your best foot forward. The goal is always to give the best reading experience. And if that means you take a little bit longer, that's what I would do. And that's what I hope you would do as well.
High five, babe. High five. Don't leave me. And high five to our readers. Boom. You can do this.
High five.
Boom.
Did you just say, no, you just said reader.
Boom. High five to our... Oh, no, you know what? I was thinking of authors who are a mixed viewer and author, and I came up with reader.
You don't touch yourself while we're talking.
You know, my eyes sore. I've got like a... That's what I'm going to look like when I have a stroke.
That is so morbid. My God.
I
Okay.
got, yeah. I don't think anyone's here about my weird eye infection.
The author's bane. To summarize, get it done. It hurts, but like the dentist and like the doctor,
and like
it's
the
essential.
Sorry, you said it hurts, and then you said but.
Nice one. I see what you did there. So, until next time, guys. This is Dave from DS Comics, and this is
taking free advertising space.
This is some shameless advertising. However, would you like to see your book there?
Ooh, Dave, you're so good.
For a lot of money, the lovely Sonia could feature your book, and for a lot more money, she would do it topless.
Oh, maybe. I'm not going to say no.
And for a lot more money, I would do it topless.
Oh, okay. We got to do that. We're going to do that. We're also going to do that. We're going to feature new authors. We're going to have little mini featured new authors, and they better be good because we're going to read some of your words out loud,
baby.
And we're going to check if it was edited, and if it wasn't.
And I'm going to get strippers and hookers, and I'm going to invite everyone, and it's going to be amazing.
And you'll notice that it's all happening at his house because, as he said, I have no friends. But I will watch it vicariously through the little screen.
But I've got an amazing book collection.
I do. I do. And a book plug. I mean, what else do you need? Please be my friend, please.
We're only making this video to make friends. We need friends. Please be my friend.
I want to come to the stripper party.
Give me your best crazy ex-girlfriend eyes. Crazy ex-girlfriend eyes. Oh, fuck, that was good. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
Okay, wait. Let's put our eyeballs together. Eyeballs together. Why are you kissing the screen? I look over and you're like...
That was my serious face. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Dave, pull my ear. Pull my earring.
Not your finger this time.
Pull it. Pull it. Close your fingers, yeah. Oh.
Fuck you, weirdo.
You're doing it too.
We should actually, do you think we could get a frame, put around the video frame, like put like a mirror or like a cute bunny ears or something around our frames?
Yeah, I can do emojis. What emoji would you like?
I am a Sith. Take me seriously.
I'm attacking you with my darkness powers. How do we get 1 million viewers?
You're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, I mean,
I reckon we're at least at like 10 viewers right now. I think we got 10 people at least. In fact, I'm going to ask my parents to watch. I'm going to ask my parents to watch, and then we're going to have 12 people.
Totally. Please don't take us off now. It's fucking hot.
Yeah, taking it off. 13 people are watching.
We should do a little
Number 14 is coming.
Counter.
Number 14 is coming.
Editing.
Editing. Woo.
I need a microphone.
Welcome.
Wait.
What are you doing?
I'm doing backup. Okay, go.
It actually looks better than you. Keep it there.